Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining me for this video. Joe here with Tool Gun and Armory, and today's video is going to be the 6th installment in our AR instructional series. Today we're going to be installing the buttstock onto our buffer tube, and then we're going to be installing an upper parts kit onto our upper receiver. Now to do this, we do need a couple of tools. We need a brass punch hammer, and then we need a set of roll pin punches. Now, whether you use the long-ended ones or the short-ended ones, it does not matter. It's whatever is most comfortable for you. For this job specifically, I prefer the shorter ones. And then just out of convenience, I would also grab some tape. This way we'll be able to mark off the areas around where we're tapping in those roll pins. That way, in case we slip and have an accident, we will not damage the finish on the upper receiver. So with that being said, let's get started. Okay, now we're set up with our build on our vise, and we are going to install the buttstock. So this is probably the most simple part of the entire series. All you're going to do is you're going to pull the adjuster out, and what that's going to do is that is going to move this nipple that's inside here all the way out of the bottom, just like so, and it's going to allow you to move it past this ridge into whatever slot you want. So we're going to do that now. Literally just like that. And then it'll clip into place, and now you are free to adjust it to whatever length, and it won't come off the build unless you do that same motion again and go to remove it, to replace it, customize it, whatever. So the first part of our upper parts kit is going to be the ejection port cover door. Now the ejection port cover door is going to be installed in an open position. The associated parts are going to be your spring, and if you notice, the spring has a long end and it's got a short end, just like so. That short end is going to go toward the back of the build, toward the back of the door, and it's going to go in an up position, just like so. This is what is going to hold the tension on the outside of that ejection port and keep the door down. So if you're looking, when it's installed, it's going to be right here. In order to have that tension on the ejection port door to swing and be held out of the way, you have to compress this spring 1/2 turn and essentially put this long end down in front of the ejection port door by spinning it behind it. So you're going to spin it towards the rifle, just like this, and in front, like so. And it is very important when installing this not to lose your grip on this smaller end, because that can very easily undo all the work that you've just done. So we are going to flip our hand around and get it up close to the, oops, up close to the build, and then we're going to thread our rod through. It's okay to be slow with this because there are small parts that you can mess up. Okay, so here we are. And as you can see, you have, I'm gonna bring this closer. You have your smaller end up against the bottom of the ejection port, and you have your longer end on the inside of the door, and that's what gives you that tension right there. Now the next part of this video is going to be installing that C-clamp right here onto that little sliver on this rod. So now that we have the ejection port cover door properly installed, we are going to install the C-clamp. Now the whole purpose of this C-clamp is to retain this rod in place so that it doesn't slide backwards out. So if you look, as I push on it, it's going to come out the back here. Now, some manufacturers actually machine a backing or machine this portion in a way where it doesn't go all the way through. And at that point, you really don't need any kind of retention device, because once the barrel nut and the barrel and the handguard is installed, it cannot slide out the front. And if there's a backing on this side, it can't slide out the back either. So this C-clamp is only really necessary for some models, and in this case, it is necessary. I will say that there's really no easy way to install this, but as the old adage goes, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And so we are going to take this C-clamp in our needle nose pliers, just like so, and we're going to slide it in the slot. It's easy if you take one of your fingers and hold the rod in place so it doesn't slide forward and backwards, and slowly guide that C-clamp into place just like that. Okay, so now it is retained and I can no longer push it back. Now, I will say, pro tip, I've built a lot of these, and while it's very unlikely, I always feel like I can knock off the C-clamp, brushing it against my pants when the rifle's next to my side or whatever. So what I like to do is, after I have that C-clamp installed, I spin this rod to where the opening of the C-clamp is on the outside. And what that does is, say this hammers the rod, the opening's now on this side, so your clothing or whatever can't grab onto the back side of that C-clamp and rip it off. Just a way of preventative maintenance that you can do in order to save the possibility of your ejection port cover door actually coming off without you even knowing. So with that being said, when I come back, we are going to get to the forward assist and the installation of that. Now, the forward assist from an operational standpoint is designed to do just that. Sometimes in an operational environment, maybe you're shooting more than you normally would. Maybe you don't have access to lubricant at an interval that you would like. Maybe you haven't been able to clean it in a while due to whatever operation. You name it, there are many different reasons. It doesn't happen a lot, but in events that it does, it's nice to have a forward assist. And what it's going to do is, in those environments, sometimes you're going to have issues with these spokes going into the barrel extension in the chamber and actually locking into place. So if you look, these spokes actually rotate, and that's what locks the bolt forward and seals off the chamber when you are shooting. So that forward assist in those situations is going to slot into the side of the bolt carrier group right here. And when you push it, it's actually going to push the bolt the rest of the way forward and seal the chamber. A couple of disclaimers on this. A lot of times when you're at this stage, you're working with parts of different brands. Different brands have the same tolerances, but one brand could be on the looser side, one brand could be on the tighter side. You never know. It's kind of a toss-up. Occasionally, you will have to do certain manipulative things to get this roll pin into place. I've had to use an excess amount of lubrication at sometimes it's gone in totally okay the first time. Sometimes I've even had to take a needle file and actually kind of bore out that hole to make it a little bit easier to go into place. But with that being said, you may see that during this video. I just wanted to forewarn you if you're like, oh my God, what is he doing? That's what I'm doing. I'm just making it a little bit easier to get in the hole. Now, the forward assist is going to be installed with this hook in the interior, because that hook is what's going to hook into that bolt carrier group. Now, if you look on the bottom, there is a cutout right here, and that is where your roll pin is going to sit. So this cutout is going to be facing the rifle, and that roll pin is going to go down, and that's what's going to hold the forward assist into place from inside here. Now, obviously the spring goes on, but we're going to be sitting something like this, and that roll pin is going to go in right there and hold it in place. So with that being said, we are going to start on this install. Okay, so now we have the forward assist installed. As you can see, the roll pin goes all the way through. It is flush on both sides. The forward assist is operational and does not come out the back and has been installed properly. And that brings us to the end of this 6th installment in our AR instructional series. Be on the lookout for the 7th installment coming very soon. That is going to cover the barrel nut, handguard, gas tube, and gas block, and that is going to be a really fun video. So with that being said, thank you all so much. Be sure to like and comment if you thought this video was helpful, and be sure to subscribe to the channel. It's the best way we grow together. I'll see y'all next time.